Yes, it's time for another episode of DWMOD, guys. That's Disagree With Me or Don't. I'm your host, Mikey Wilson, as always. This is it. This is the finale, guys. The finale. Big Six Picks wraps up to an end. It's Super Bowl week here on DWMOD. And, of course, we're going to have Andy St. Clair. We're going to have Jerron Horton. We're going to have Anthony Fanelli. The pickers are in the house. We'll see who's taking this thing home. We're going to be talking about the Ryan Day extension. Shannon Sharp's wearing some fancy clothes lately. Myles Garrett, he wants out in Cleveland. NFL replays, great three-peat teams. We're going to be giving you some prop bets. We're going to be doing all that stuff today on DWMOD. And, of course, we are brought to you by the fellas at Kuttin Loose Entertainment.
We cutting loose.
That's it, baby Louie. You know what to do, man. Let's go.
Touchdown.
Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down. Hook.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. Yes, that's how it's going to work, guys. Now, let's get to it. Let's welcome back our regular guest host, our Vegas insider, the guy putting money in your pocket all the time. It's Andy St. Clair. What's up, Andy?
What's up? It feels good. You know, we're all cruising on to our third consecutive championship. And, you know, I'm just cutting loose, as they say in the promo. Cutting loose.
I love it. He's got the name tag up on the screen there, guys. For you people listening there, it says 3-peat. And how ironic it is that the Chiefs fan, the Mahomes guy, is also going to 3-peat when Mahomes possibly 3-peats.
Yeah,
man,
it tells me that you guys are not believers, and you're gonna get on board now and ruin it for the rest of it. You've been betting against the Chiefs for 3 years. Well, I'm the only one betting for the Chiefs. I got a good read on this Chiefs team. I will say, the last couple of years, I have told you, like, they don't cover at home, they barely win, and then their games when they go on the road, they occasionally blow a team out. And you're like, oh, that's the Chiefs. So I've been lucky enough that they've been good. So I've been lucky.
Listen, anybody that's been listening to this show and listening to All Right Bet, they know that's a fact. You've been handing out Chiefs money, betting against them, betting for them. You've been nailing it. You do have a good tie-in on that. Now, listen, Jerron Horton is also in the house, coming back in. Let's welcome Jerron. What's up, buddy?
What up, man? How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well, man. You got a nice view there going on. You over the cabana, just chilling, huh?
Yeah, man. I needed to get some fresh air. You know, I needed to make sure that I had some good air, oxygen going into my blood cells when I make these picks, because I can't finish last, man. I can't.
Oh man,
I talked way too much trash coming into this damn contest, and I'm over here fighting for last place with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I needed to lock in. I needed quiet. I need serenity.
That's where everything stands right there, man. You nailed it. Andy has already locked it up. He's 3-peated. He's got 55. No one can catch him. He's 1 point off the all-time record in this thing. He'll probably break the record in the Super Bowl. He's going full Mahomes on us right here. It's crazy ironic. Anthony Fanelli, he's at 43 points right now. And as we've already discussed, you and I we're in the cellar, man. I got 31. You got 30. It's anybody's game to be the worst guy in this contest this weekend between you and me. That's how it's going to go down, man.
It's funny. Like, I wish there was a way, you know how, like, when you overbid in spades that you lose points. I wish it was they all put something in the rules to where, Andy can lose points. You know what I'm saying? Because he's he was humble the whole time until he locked it down.
Yeah. No, you let it out. That's when you let it out.
Yeah. Then he came out of the locker with a fresh haircut, belt on,
I know, fresh
sunglasses,
haircut, everything.
All right, I'm already talking about, as I said, load management. I'm pulling the starters for this game. You know, just excuses if I don't get anything right and don't break the record.
Yeah. Well, you're probably going to do that. Guys, Anthony Fanelli is going to try to make it today. You know his deal, man. He's doing everything. He's out in L.A. right now. He's directing a movie, so he's on set and doing that. He's going to try to join us later for the Big Six Picks. Hopefully, we'll have him in for that. Now, Jerron, I know you've seen his recent ad campaign, this Burt Rivers stuff. Andy, I think you missed it that week, but he's got another one. Here's a third spot he's got out there.
Great googly moogly.
Burt Rivers.
An entire store of pocket casinos? Hey, How did you find all these pocket casinos?
Bet Rivers, is that a casino in your pocket?
Burt Rivers frozen in the 70s, man.
That's
He's
so
killing
funny.
it with that.
The
He's
thing about
killing
that
it.
commercial, by the way, is that look is kind of good on him. I kind of like
Yeah.
the hair, the mustache. I'm like, he could do that. He should rock that.
Oh, he walked into that audition and they were like, just send everybody else home. Just send everybody else home.
It's got Super Bowl commercial energy. Like, it would be dope if they played it during the Super Bowl. I mean, it's like a really, right? The production value on it is really
I
nice.
guarantee they will be playing that regionally. Super Bowl commercial regionally for sure.
Nice.
100%. Now, speaking of things that we've seen you guys in and worked on in television. Now, Andy, after we talked about Family Feud last week, I'm scouring trying to find some footage of this damn thing to put you up there making some picks on Family Feud. I got all the subscriptions. I can see all the episodes from the season that you were on here. This one is, you cannot watch it. What happened? What happened during this thing that it's been pulled and they won't play it? Who swore? Who said something about asses?
Sam and I pulled it out. We didn't want our loss to be on national TV. We like it's I think it's on Hulu if you're looking at. I think it's somewhere on Hulu.
But the episode's not up. Like, I have Hulu and I looked, and that episode, like 4 or 5 episodes, you know, sometimes they pull episodes because, well, something was said and they don't want it to ever show again or something. Yeah. It's one of those. It's pulled. It's pulled.
I don't know. It was great. I love the Feud. Feud is one of my favorite game shows, by the way. And I think I said this last week. I would love to do it again. Get me back on the Feud.
Let's work on that, man. Maybe we'll get the panel on there. This is the best we could do.
Welcome back to Celebrity Family Feud, everybody. Let's meet our next two teams. From the after party in Veep, it's comedian Sam Richardson and family.
There's Andy. There he is on the end. There he is.
And they're playing for the Gleaners Community Food Bank.
There he is again. There he is again. That's the best we could do, man.
I look sharp. I look a little fat. I noticed. I thought I looked a little heavy there. My weight is quite fluctuates. But yeah, no. I mean, it's a great time. They don't mess around. I think I said this last week. You get there, you're like an hour or two, and then the game's going, and then you're gone in like 20 minutes.
It's It flies right by. You're moved in, you're moved out, and they don't play around. They're shooting like 10 of them in a day or some shit. You know what I mean? Shooting them all. Well, I'm glad you had a good time with it. Now, Jerron, you're not escaping again this week. You're not escaping again this week, but
I'm just trying to think there can't be that many things for you to pull.
No, this is something you'll be proud of. I'm not sure if Andy has seen this. I put together a little snippet of Big Bro. You guys could check this thing out on Tubi. Goodness. It's hilarious, man. Absolutely check this thing out, but we got to show people snippets of it so they go watch it.
Undefeated prospect Manny Montez Sheffield faces the longest reigning heavyweight champion in boxing history, Randy the Body Stretcher Bauer. The fight of the century.
This fight is brought to you by Rugpool, the fastest growing app in crypto, and Sam Spiked Seltzer. Drink like a team. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing 2 bald eagles as trunks. The challenger, holding a professional record of 27 wins, 0 defeats, and 6 hoes. Presenting the pride of Jacksonburg, Georgia, Manny Montez Sheffield. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, the reigning, defending, undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Randy the Body Stretcher Bowers.
You got this, bro. I already put it out into the universe. That's like planets and stars and shit.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
Now, the only thing the universe will give you is syphilis. Ask them brothers in Tuskegee. I need you to focus, Montez.
And
Sneak a Tuskegee joke in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always say every time you bring it up, I haven't watched it in forever. This morning, I was like trying to do some research on rom-coms, and I've never seen Annie Hall. So I started watching Annie Hall. It was on Tubi.
Okay.
So I clicked on Tubi, and I was like, let me just check to see if Big Bro was still there. You know, and it was so funny that I actually went and looked at it today for a second.
That's funny.
And then
man.
now you're showing it to me. It's crazy.
Spiked seltzer, drink like a teen. That one gets me every fucking time, man.
I like the Eagles. I like the two Eagles flying in his pants.
Oh, thank you.
Also, Killer Mike's in that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Killer Mike. He's the voice. He's the lead voice.
Mike.
Yeah. You guys go check that out on
Check
Tubi,
it out.
man. It's a
Check it
great
out.
watch. Great watch. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys, let's get moving into quick hits. But before we do that, we got to throw it over to the sponsors, and we got to throw it over to our man, Gordon Butterfield. He's going to get with us with what just happened. What just happened?
What just happened is brought to you by the RustBeltClub.com.
What just happened?
Young Cody Pembroke feeling rizzy and drippy in that Toyota Prius. Ho-ho, Snake Eyes! Caught him slipping and he lost it all. Oh my, let's see where Window Jack got the jump on Froggy Fresh. It looks like Cody's got some time to kill while he waits on those waves to come in. So he's counting up a boatload of cash. Looks like about $31 bills. Ho-ho, that won't last you 20 minutes in the club, young man. I can see you've got a XXX watch, but you sure don't know what time it is. But at least he's being safe. That seatbelt kept him right in place.
What just happened? Andy, I know you love how much Gordon does not like that kid.
He doesn't like that guy at all. He calls him Window Jack, which I do like that name for that guy. He also, Gordon said Rizzy and Drizzy, I think. Which I was like,
they've been on him. Look, Louis been on him about trying to reach out to the younger base, and I said, I don't know if it sounds natural.
He was so fucking funny. That was so fucking funny.
Snake Eyes, and he lost it all.
Lost it
man.
Well,
is
somewhere
Gordon,
Window Jack.
Is Gordon going to be around next year? I mean, is there contract talks with
Gordon is locked in. Gordon is locked in. We got a 5-year deal with Gordon. He can't do anything but go back to baseball. And I don't think they're going to let him back after the incident. We're not going to disclose the incident yet. There's a little documentary being made on that. And we'll get to that maybe in the next season or something like that. But as for now, let's get to some quick hits while Window Jack's waiting for them waves to come in. Okay, look, hit Ryan Day first. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see. There we go. Ryan Day and Ohio State have agreed to a new contract per the school. It's a 7-year contract that will keep Day as the coach of the Buckeyes through the 2031 football season. Average salary, $12.5 million in total compensation. What do you guys make about this extension? Andy, I'll throw it to you.
I'm not the world's biggest Ryan Day guy. Don't love Ryan Day. But I will say, he's at one of the few programs that can just buy the guys they want to buy. So it's like that program, Alabama, that are always going to be good. So look, it makes sense. Day, the Michigan game's a little overblown, right? That was just a little overblown, I think. Like in the end, that it seemed like the Ohio State team is kind of doing what the Chiefs are being lauded for, which is survive the regular season, and then when the playoffs come, they try a little harder. I love that in Kansas City, everybody's like, this is great. But Ohio State does it, and everybody's like, ooh, So I don't know. I thought Ohio State was awesome in the college football playoffs, and they destroyed teams. And, I don't love Day, but to me, it makes sense. They had to. They had to do it.
Yeah, he's going to keep getting the best players that there is. And in this day and age, guys, you're not going to see with NIL, you're not going to see the coaching extensions given to guys because they're Nick Sabans, because they're just great coaches. It's going to get to a point where I think Ryan Day falls in this category a little bit, where it's going to be a guy that the collective, the NIL collective knows that they can kind of control. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what you can do. Play ball. What do you think, Jerron?
I agree. I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't. They just won a championship. You extend the coach. That seems to always happen with coaches who at least haven't won a championship before, right? So I don't know. It tracks. It's not surprising to me. I mean, had he lost the championship, I wouldn't be surprised if they fired him.
100%. 100%.
The other thing too is I think if they fired him, I think Ryan Day would get a job tomorrow, right? That's the other thing. I think there would be like 10 major programs jumping over themselves to grab him.
For sure. It's a copycat game. You know how that is, man. Them coaches, sometimes they get fired for being real bad, and they'll have 3 more jobs before people go, no, he's not really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But but here's how some other people.
Go blue, baby. 4-0. 4-0. Let's go blue, baby. Woo! Out of way, Ryan Day. Extend them.
I love that video because I'm telling you right now, you guys could be like, oh, they won the championship and the Buckeye fans are fine with it and shit. They're not. I'm telling you right now, if this guy loses to Michigan again next year and makes a deep run in the playoffs toward the championship again, they will be discussing firing him. 100%.
I'm going to make a prediction right now. Ohio State is going to beat the living shit out of Michigan next year. Like, they are going to unload the entire playbook on Michigan.
I don't think so. That game's going to be at Michigan. Michigan's got a huge NIL class coming in. They got like 15 of the top 300 already committed. Like, they got a good class coming in. They got a good coach. I don't think they're going to bomb them in Ann Arbor. It's going to be a good football game.
Be nervous. I'd be nervous.
I'd be pissed if my coach was laughing at that. Like, if I was an Ohio State fan, I'd be pissed that he didn't say anything or do anything. He just smirked and walked away.
Not Louis, play that again. I want you guys to watch right there. It looks like he's smirking, but watch his eyes. And then at the end, when the kid's walking away, look in the background and look at him. He's got murder face on. Like, watch.
Go blue, baby. 4-0. 4-0. Let's go blue, baby. Woo! Out of way, Ryan Day. Extend them.
He wanted to fucking kill that kid, but he knew he was being recorded.
I love that. Extend them.
Extend them, and they did, and Michigan fans are happy. He's not a good coach. Michigan fans are happy, man. They're happy. Okay, guys. I don't know how big a fan of 30 Rock you guys are. Big fans of 30 Rock, the show. If you guys watched a lot of it.
The whole thing.
Yeah, extremely well written, hilarious jokes. This is one of my favorite jokes that Tina Fey wrote for Liz Lemon here. Just check this out.
Hi, what are you doing down here?
I'm known for being hands-on.
Clearly.
That's how you should dress for work, by the way.
Yeah, if I was president of the Philippines.
That's how you should dress for work if I was president of the Philippines. Now, you're wondering why I bring that up. Because this is how Shannon Sharp dresses for work, like he's president of the Philippines.
Yeah.
What is he wearing? Look at that necklace. Is that like from the Queen Elizabeth collection, or what the fuck? He's dressed like the president of the Philippines, man. What's he wearing?
I mean, he's trying to. It's funny, like, I mean, I'm not even going to bring up the rumors about him, but. He's on, he joined Stephen A's show. Stephen A is the guy who, always talks about how nice he dresses and how fly he is. And Shannon, he came on the show and he's been so passive with his, like, this is your show. I'm so happy to be here. You take the leads, respect. But I think he's trying to kill him in the fashion. And I think that he's on 11 right now. And his rumor, it tracks.
Yeah. I think he's staring across the table at Cam Newton a little too much, and he's getting confused as to what looks good and what looks fucking crazy for attention.
I love it. Cam is the best. He throws just stuff. I'd be like, how ballsy. Those hats are incredible. Like, it's just, he's incredible.
I wish I had a photo right now. The other day he was wearing one of those like short billed baseball caps, like from the 20s, but it had a big, huge, tall dome top to it. So he could, so he could fit his hair in it and it's fashionable or whatever. Yeah. He looked like a Keystone Cop. He looked like one of the dudes chasing Charlie Chaplin around in a black and white movie. I was like, what is he wearing, man? These guys.
He's Atlanta. That's Atlanta though. That's little 5 points all day.
They wear crazy shit like that, huh?
Yeah, like that's this, like, there's like a group in Atlanta that just is like crazy with everything they do, from the wild hats to walking around with samurai swords, like that. Like it's not weird to me that he wears that. I think it's weird to people who aren't from Atlanta, who don't know, like, oh, he's from Atlanta. Right. He's just.
I'm gonna have to head down there with you one time. What you say?
Well, I always think about, like, I want to wear that, but how many people would just be like, "What are you doing?" Just be like, "You look horrible." I watch it and I'm like, yes, this is what I want to look like in my head. But I know as soon as I put it, I just don't have the confidence to do it. I can't do it.
No, I wouldn't wear that shit on a bet. All right, guys, let's line this one up, Louis. Now, I asked you guys before to think about it, and I'm going to go to you first, Jerron. Tell me, we all know the saying, but where did it start? Everybody talks about like, oh, that guy's an alien. Those athletes that are just so much better than everybody at what they're doing. They're like, oh, he's an alien. That guy's an alien. Who was the first guy? Like, can you trace that back for yourself as far as you can remember, the first guy that they said that about?
See, I even Googled to try to think of, like, to try to remember. I don't remember any. I'm sure that it's happened, but I can't pinpoint anyone. The first person I ever heard call themselves an alien was Lil Wayne.
Okay, same concept.
Concept. He had the, it was one of his mixtapes. He would always say it. He's not a human being. I'm an alien.
Like just so much better at this than everybody
else. Yes.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne is who comes to mind when I think of that. So I couldn't even find online like a time. So like I don't know who.
Yeah, they used to say that a lot about like recently, like KD when he was in his prime because he was like 7'2" and doing great. Like Wembanyama, they're like, oh, he's an alien.
Yeah, Wembanyama,
like yeah. Andy, what about you?
The first one that comes to my mind is Bo Jackson, as a guy who was people are like would say he doesn't do what humans do.
Yeah,
that to me, that's like that guy. I always give Porzingis a little credit for this because when Porzingis was the unicorn, right? For a long time.
Yeah.
And, and then to me, it's like three, LeBron, probably somebody I'm sure said about LeBron, but LeBron to me, that never stuck, right? He was just, he was just incredible. To me, it's like Bo, Porzingis, and Wemby. Those are like, to me, the three. Ultimately.
Yeah. The first guy that I remember them really calling an alien, and it really stuck with me because when he was rocking his career in his prime, I was like, this guy is dominating his sport more than anyone ever has, more than Jordan ever did in his prime. More like it was Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was doing crazy shit, and they were, he was an alien. Like he was an alien on a golf course. Nobody could play with him, and I think they're admitting it now. We now know that he is an alien. He's playing for the TGL, the golf league now, and he's playing for Jupiter. He's playing for Jupiter. Tiger Woods is an alien, and he's playing for Jupiter. That's our penny whistle of the week, guys.
Yeah.
No, but this question popped up the other day in a roundtable of sports, and I was like, man, I'm trying to trace it back to the first time I really heard that. And for me, it kind of was Tiger Woods. I mean, he dominated his sport more than anyone ever had. I don't even think it's arguable.
Yeah, I think some of those, like the super great ones are like Tiger, Gretzky, Jordan, LeBron. Like they don't necessarily get the alien tag. They get the great tag. I think it's the aliens to me are the ones are like somebody like Wemby, truly, who's like 7'4" and can do things that I mean, he can shoot, he stays the paint, he blocks, like he can just play all the positions. You kind of put like a chess piece on on the board there. Like Porzingis was like that too. Like that's why I think I keep going back to those sort of
for sure. Speaking of this TGL, listen, we're not in knock it off yet, but we'll diverge here just for a quick second. Are you guys watching this thing at all?
A little bit, not a lot, a little bit.
I can't listen. I can't watch this. People who are going to complain to me about the NBA and the NFL being scripted and referees and shit, and then you're going to turn around and watch electronic golf on TV, and you don't think that thing's going to be manipulated? Oh, Rory tees it off into this screen, and they're like, oh, man, it's the end of the match here. Oh, Rory's a little bit off into the sand. Oh, Tiger's shot went right up there. Now we got a match. Like, I'm not watching any esports on television. If you think sports can be scripted and manipulated, and then you're going to watch an esports thing and tell me you think it's real,
I didn't realize it was esports. Tiger Woods is playing.
Well, it's not with controllers. I'm comparing it to esports. It's like a golf simulator.
It's a golf simulator.
Yeah, like they tee off into this big screen.
There's one right by my house nearby. I haven't been to, but I drove by it, and I just wonder if they're just like marketing to get people to get out and do that more. That's weird.
And then they have like what they have though is like people pay to go in there and watch them do it like a sporting event because they actually set up a little green with some little bunkers around it, a small little thing. And then they just play on the screen the whole time. And then they walk over and place the ball when they get close where it was and they finish the whole live. And I'm like, this thing reeks of rigged. Get out of here.
Can I just say that if you said you never want to watch people play video esports, when you watch, you need to watch the Madden Bowl. Watch the best Madden players in the world play against each other. It is incredible.
I would
it is so entertaining.
Or not like they wouldn't need to fix that, right? Like they wouldn't need to manipulate that. They'll just let those guys play because
but that's what I say. I say give that a shot. Check that out. That is
I would probably watch that. I would probably watch that.
I will say, on that TGL, like, yeah, I'm kind of with you guys that like hitting in the screen kind of sucked. But the one thing they're doing, I think that the PGA Tour has kind of blown over the course, like you're seeing these guys' personality, right? They're talking, they're laughing, they're interacting. They're like, it's that to me is the most fun of it, right? Is watching those guys give each other shit, stuff they do when the camera's not on. Golf is actually a sport I've grown to like a lot more, especially as I've gotten older.
Sure.
Maybe it's because I can nap a little easier and I can wake up and the game's still going on. But like the idea, like they're so serious, I do like the TGL has some more fun. And I think that I enjoy that.
It's warming up. The first couple matches, it was dangerously like, oh man, maybe this is why they don't put these guys on camera because they don't have any personality.
Right.
It's
you get the right dudes, like Tiger's really good about like Tiger's got so much fuck you money, doesn't even matter to Tiger, right? Like, He could be like, I shot 35 over. I'm still going to ride every single player here.
Like Live Golf tried to give him $750 million to go over them, and he told them to eat one. He said, "So Tiger's got money you don't even know." Right. I mean, like $750 million, and he was like, "Get out of my face! I don't need that."
It's not like I don't get out of bed for $750 million.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's interesting. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's interesting to watch all these major sports leagues like kind of dumb down their product for the next generation because it's happening. I didn't even know that they've got major, league golfers doing this thing.
You're right.
Basketball's talking about going down to 10 minutes. NASCAR has, which I appreciate because it's made more interesting to me. They changed the way they do their game and putting races inside the race. Like
you're right. They're dumbing it down to snippets and shit. You're right. You're right, man.
Interesting.
It's sad. It's sad, really, man, because for those of us that really enjoy sports and want to sit there and watch the game, here's another thing too, and I'm not gonna get long-winded on this. I don't understand these major sports leagues that are constantly looking for change like big changes because they're trying to grab new eyeballs. I always thought that was a bad business model. You're shitting on 80% of the people that love your thing and watch your thing to try to grab these new eyeballs who aren't going to stay. It's going to be a flash in the pan. If you're not a sports fan, you're not going to start watching NBA and then be locked in for life. Really? I mean, to me, it's like, it kind of mirrors like politics. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're not playing to your base. You know what I mean? You've lost your whole base to try to reach this small group that's not going to help you in the long run. I don't know. That's my disagreement.
By the way, next week is the Genesis Invitational. It's normally in LA. But to the Fires, I think it's going to be at Torrey Pines, which is a dope ass course, like in California. But I think Tiger's going to play next week, right? He will play next week for the first time. And look, Tiger's not going to win. He's just not going to win. Whatever the odds are, it could be 1,000 to 1. Maybe I would take Tiger at 1,000 to 1. But it'll just be good to see, those while you're talking about the greats, Tiger, LeBron, like, trying to enjoy them the last few years before like they just kind of vanish in a true alien form. Tiger, I could give you I could go find a bunch of stats from the early 2000 Tiger that will
it's ridiculous.
Just absolutely blow your mind.
Ridiculous.
Right? Like it's crazy. So, just to wrap this full circle, like the alien that is Tiger Woods is going to play next week. And it's like, it'll be awesome to see him out there.
Yeah.
And I hope of all hopes, like everyone does, he's in it on Sunday. He probably won't be. It's going to rain. As soon as it rains, you could see Tiger's bones like breaking in half. He's like such an old man.
Yeah, he's going to beat up.
But it'll be fun to see. So he'll be back next.
Yeah,
week.
he absolutely dominated during his prime. Like, there's one crazy stat that's like during his like 10-year. They took like a 10-year window, whatever it was, of like when he was playing his best, and they took the collective score, like every match he played in that 10 years, and everybody else as well, and who had the best collective 10 years of golf. And Tiger Woods was like 121 under par. And then they were like, who was number 2? Phil Mickelson, and he was like 75 over par.
Right.
It was like the ridiculous disparity.
Yeah,
It
he was like
it
world number
crazy.
1 for like 11 years.
Yeah,
Number
it's
one.
it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Yeah, he's the greatest ever in his own sport. All right, before we move over to knock it off, I just want to throw a quick shout out to this guy. That's Johnny Wilson of the Philadelphia Eagles, drafted this year, a rookie. You remember him in college, started at Arizona State, finished at Florida State on that undefeated team, became a huge star on that team, got drafted from the Calabasas Coyotes, the football safe house, man. Johnny Wilson, one of ours, playing in the game this weekend as a rookie. I got my cap on.
Does he play?
Yeah, he dresses, he plays. You know what I mean? He doesn't get a ton of balls and a ton of reps, but like he's one of the receivers on the depth chart. He'll be on the sideline, dressed, ready to roll, man. He'll be doing it for sure, man. Oh, Louis, throwing a picture of the old ball coach out there.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, those are good days, man. We made a run to the
when are you making your
semis.
return to coaching?
I need to do it soon down here, man. I know your buddy got at me at the one show. I know you got a buddy runs a team, and he was like, "Come on out, man. I need a D-line guy." I was like, I should get with him. And find out.
Oh yeah, Kyle. Yeah.
Oh, you son of a Louis.
No.
Louis.
Hey, I might join up with him though, like just to be around it because I've never done it before. But I want to.
Well, let me know. I'll go out there with you. Louis,
Louis,
put that
they're
picture up.
middle school. It's middle school.
I went to
try it.
I went to a game like 2 years ago. A buddy of mine from Beverly Hills here, local kid, played at Beverly Hills, and his coach was coaching at Santa Monica High School. And it was like, and so he was like, "You want to go to this Santa Monica High School football games for a championship game?" And I went there, and we stood on the sidelines.
Yeah,
because his coach let him, so I could stand on the sidelines with the team, and no interest, don't care. I'm rooting for Santa Monica High School, but look, I'm not, you know what I'm saying. I'm not from.
Yeah, sure.
Game was electric. I think they lost like a missed 2-point conversion at the end with 0 seconds left. There was like USC and Oregon was there, and like I had a great time. It's so that high school, like it was so intoxicating. I was like, I want to be a football coach.
It's so fun.
And I know nothing about it. I couldn't coach a second of high school football. But at the end, I was like, maybe I've chosen poorly. Maybe I should have gotten into these games because it was a blast. It's
a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. We took that team, Calabasas. We went to the one from the pitcher, my coaching pitcher. We went to the CIF semis. We were beating the number 1 seed late in the game. Our kicker missed a 22-yard field goal that would have put us up 10 and sealed the game. There was like 2 minutes left. It was sealed the game. He missed it badly. Like
22 yards?
He kicked it out of bounds, man. Like it didn't even cross the goal line. Like it went out of bounds to the left. It was bad. I felt bad for the kid, man, because it was like Choke City. It was bad. Yeah. They got the ball. 3 pass interference calls from 45 yards later. They're in the end zone. They go for 2 with 14 seconds left and get it. We lose 15-14.
Oh,
brutal.
For 2?
Brutal. They went for 2 because they knew it was one of those things where they had to because they knew they weren't going to win the game. We were kicking the shit out of them. They couldn't do anything. We were killing them. We had defensive linemen at USC right now. Like we were stunning them hard. They knew if they went in overtime, they'd get their ass beat. So they went for the 2. It's quarterback scramble for the pylon.
Were you the head coach of that team?
No. O-line, D-line. Head coach Kerry Harris from USC played for Pete Carroll. Him and Brandon Carswell, who's been on the show. He was our wide receivers coach. He's played at USC with Kerry. Nice. It was a lot of fun. I'll
give you the one last high school football story. My high school, and it's not about me. My high school, sure. I grew up in a town of like 5,000 people in northern Missouri. And we have a game called Brookfield. We have a game versus a town 9 miles away. It's our rival. And the game's called the Bell game. And it's for this bell. Anyway, that about 3 or 4 years ago, USA Today did a story of like best high school rivalry in America. That game won of that.
Oh, wow.
Won as best high school football game rivalry in America. Anyway, the game is it is a war between the 2 towns, right? So it starts on a Monday, right? The vandalism and I was definitely a part of this. The vandalism of each town starts on a Monday. And
Jesus.
Schools, the kids will like it is like jets and sharks. They, everybody, like, there's fights, everybody eyes each other. It's intense.
Middle America.
It's one of the most intense things I've ever. One time I went there. I remember we mooned the whole stadium the week before. Moon Stadium. I went to my truck. I had a truck at the time. Went to my truck. They had taken all the tires off my truck. Like it was like, fuck that guy. Took all the tires off my truck. It's, one time there was a lineman named Ron James who was known as the Rhino, and he played fullback from Missouri. He's one of those like classically Midwest fullbacks.
Yeah.
Big white dude who was like awesome running back in high school, but in college he was a fullback. But they papered out of the air like wanted dead or alive Ron James. They papered it into a stadium. I couldn't fucking believe it. It's
That's
just
hilarious, man.
It's an insanity. It's a great rivalry. It's very intense. I still check on the score every year to see if we won the bell. And it's just a shitty bell. The bell doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't matter.
No, it's like the little brown jug or something, man. Andy, you need to go film a documentary about that.
I should. I don't know if they're as crazy anymore as they were in like the 80s and 90s. But the 80s and 90s were.
Somebody's got footage of that stuff.
Yeah, you gotta go talk to the people.
People have VHS tapes and all. And speaking of, on this same note, we've talked about it on the show before, but I don't know if you ever watched it, Andy. I don't know if you ever watched it, but Anthony put together a documentary about his high school rivalry, which is also rated one of the best high school rivalries in the country. He played at Hoban in Ohio, which plays against St. Mary's, where LeBron went.
Yeah.
And it's like they call it the Holy War.
Right.
There you go. This is a documentary that Anthony went home and filmed and put together. And it's on Amazon. You can watch it. And here's a little clip of him playing in the game. He's the running back. That's Anthony for the running back right there. He's a little fast guy, man. He's fast. Now here's the catch. LeBron catching the ball here. This is going to be a pass to LeBron. Tip. Boom! Fumbles it. Well, recovered it and stuff. Oh, yeah. It's a great documentary, man.
I didn't know that was his. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's great. He went home with you got to do that with yours, Andy. You should do that, man.
Crazy. Yeah, it's fun, man. It was an insane. You would egg the bell and you would guard the bell. There's a bell at each school that sits in front of the school, and you would guard the bell, right? You just get pelted with eggs, rocks, gasoline balloons, whatever. Just insane. You can't have like Northern Missouri country kids and be like, we hate we hate that town, and that town hates us. Just bad things are happening, just in general.
That's great. That's great, man. I love it. I love it. Let's stay right here for a minute, because this is some fun stuff, man. Now, I know you guys were laughing, but people who are listening couldn't see what Louis threw this picture up that he texts this to me all the time to mess with me. A parent took this picture here of me thumbs downing during the game, mad with my hat backwards.
Yeah.
He texts me that all the time. Now I'll give you the backdrop of what's happening in that picture the parent took. Somebody on our team running the foot. We got the ball. We're on offense. They fumble. Ball's loose, and it's loose. Guys are diving. It's all over the place. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. No, sorry. The other team had the ball. They were on offense. The ball's loose. It's all over the place. We recover the ball. We end up recovering the ball, but there's flags everywhere for somebody during the melee, like earhold somebody else, right? And the referees get together to talk about it. And I'm going, what are you even talking about, man? They call us together. Finally, they call us together and go, they come over and we go, what's going on, man? Like, it's our ball. Who's the penalty on? And he's like, well, you're not going to like it, coach. It was a loose ball and you guys did recover. However, the penalty took place while the ball was loose. So they're going to retain possession. And it was on their guy. So they're going to lose 15 yards, but they're going to retain possession because the penalty happened while the ball was loose. And I looked at him and I went, what now?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, it happened while the ball was loose. And I said, my man, this ain't basketball. There's no loose ball foul and you retain possession. What are you talking about? It's our ball. and the penalty will be after it's change of possession. The penalty's in our favor. It's our football. He's arguing and yelling at me, and finally we're screaming. I got the hat backwards. I don't do that on the field. We're screaming at each other after a few minutes, and he's like, "That's the rule, coach." I said, "Okay, I just want to make sure." Everybody's laughing. The coaches dogged me about this. They were laughing later. I said, "Okay, my man, I just want to make sure then that I got this right so that I can coach my kids up to be good football players and coach them the right way. You're telling me I should go coach my kids that if we ever fumble the ball, just run around and start ear-holing everybody because then we'll just get to have it back." And his face just went, you could see his eyes moving and thinking, and you could just see it wash over him that he fucked up. And he was like, "I don't want another word out of you or you're out of here." And that's when I just went. I just kept doing that. I just kept going, hey.
Thumbs down.
It's like this fucking, is that the worst call you've ever heard?
Yeah,
That was the worst call. That's a great place to start it, man.
This was when you were coaching, or was that because
when I was coaching?
Oh, it looked like you had your son's school on that the school he plays for now. That's why I was confused. So that was when you.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. This was when I was coaching right before high school. This was like an 8th grade game while these kids were getting ready to go into high school. I was coaching that team.
Okay.
I was like, you guys, this is goofy. That was the worst call I ever saw. They get this.
All right, everyone, time to do me a favor and knock it off.
I had never heard of such shit. I'm mad about it now. I'm mad about it right now still. Anyway, man. All right, let's jump into some knock it off. Let's get into NFL replay. This is a big deal after the Chiefs and the Bills game. And there was the big play with Josh Allen. Did he not get the first down? Did he get the first down? Was a big deal. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, as a football guy, and John, I know you're a football guy, and Andy, you're a Chiefs guy. As a football guy, I don't want to hear crying about 4th and 1s and you didn't get the call. That's putting it in the hands of the judges. That's on you. I'm not going to cry about that. That's on you. I'm not going to get into that. But let's take a look at the play.
So tucking it and now going, reaching for it. It's as close.
Right, now we're going to see the other angle here. We're going to see him lunging.
He's looking from the other side where the football is right there. Does he get enough to get to that line? Just had to get to that line.
Now, that was the big question. Did he get it? Did he not get it? Now, Andy, I know you felt like he got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or you felt like he didn't get it. I'm sorry.
I think it's close. I think it's close. You could go either way on that one, I think.
Yeah. Jerron, what was your takeaway on that play?
I don't know. It didn't look like he got it to me.
Yeah. Now, that has sparked a lot of discussions about putting a chip in the ball for first downs. I'm going to tell you, you guys can disagree with me or don't. That's hands down the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. It's stupid, right? You can't put a chip in the ball and then we're going to have things on the sideline. And then we're just going to, once again, turn it over to just trusting this technology to be wrong or right. And then I'm telling you, we're going to have a replay at one point where the guy's nowhere near that fucking line, but the chip triggered. And we're all just going to go, well, the chip went. That's the rule. I mean, this is stupid.
I mean, I think that chip idea has probably been around for a while, and they do seem hesitant to do it, right?
Yeah.
But if you use something like tennis, right? They have that eagle eye where the ball, where it goes out of where they hit it, and you can see right where the ball lands. I mean, that at majors they do it a lot. They probably do it every tennis, but that thing's awesome. I mean, that thing is, and it's so fast. Like, I think I would be for the chip. It just has to be quick, right? And we just have to keep the game moving. We can't do a chip and be like, now we got to go check the number. We can't do that.
It's such a stupid idea. Right. It's stupid.
I think that the fix maybe it's they need to be more clear about the forward progression, because what bothers me is like sometimes, right? Like for an example, right? He'll be pushing, right. And then he'll get pushed back a little bit and then they blow the play dead. But then sometimes they'll be pushing for 10 seconds and then the guy breaks loose because he thought he heard, or like the guy stopped protecting the ball because he assumed, okay, well, I didn't get it and they done knocked it out, and they're calling like it to me it allows the referees or too much opportunity to be able to control the game or in a certain team's favor. So I think it needs to be more clear on what's forward progression.
You're 100% right.
In a 4th or 1 situation, I mean, like maybe they go where until someone's on the ground, until the ball carrier is on the ground. Like, I'm saying, something that's more clear, and that's where it is, or something that I don't know, because the chip. They tried the chip over the in the preseason. It didn't work. Right,
No.
it was wrong more times than it was right. I'm sure the technology will eventually get good enough, but I don't know. There's something about there being referees out there that can be cussed out. They can be. That's part of the controversy.
Human element.
That's talking about on Monday and Tuesday. And
yeah. I think you hit the nail right on the head with consistency, though. There's no consistency with forward progress. If that play's happening like in a wide open play around like the 50-yard line and everybody pounds up on the guy and they hold him up, that whistle goes quick. You put it in a 4th and 1 or down by the goal line, and they just let that play just keep going. And that guy will be making no progress for 5-6 seconds, and they'll just let it keep going. There's no consistency in it at all.
Right. Yeah. I think I had said this a couple weeks ago on this pod where I was like, I just don't know if I always understand the rules of football.
Sure.
Even that catch and the Worthy catch in the Bills game where they gave him the catch, I was like, wait, that's a catch? It didn't seem like it seemed like, if anything, I guess I would have been like, didn't the Bills understand? I mean, there was a penalty, so it didn't really matter. The Chiefs were getting the ball regardless, but it seemed like the Bills guy had caught more of the ball than Xavier Worthy.
He had 2 hands on it.
But they said no, and I was like,
but the rule is clear on that. The rule is, that offense retains possession, but it wasn't a catch though, so it shouldn't even.
He had one hand on the ball. He's got one hand on the ball, pressing it against the ground. I'm like,
yeah, that was crazy.
This is where I get frustrated with common sense. If you're those referees, this is where they can't get out of their own way sometimes. Listen, everybody's gonna cry about refs all the time. I'm not one of those guys. It's football. But this is where they can't get out of their own way. And you tell me if I'm wrong. The 3 of us make that call. We get together, we look under the hood, and then we get together, and here's our options as we talk this through, guys. There's a penalty for defensive holding on this play anyway. Chiefs are going to retain the ball. Guys, this catch doesn't matter. We don't need to award them the ball on some crazy one-handed. Listen, let's just cooler heads prevail here. No catch, incomplete. Chiefs get the first down back where the penalty's called. We're done here.
Yeah.
Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. But
that rule's weird. There's also anytime the quarterbacks, throw it away, the rush is coming. They got whatever the lanes are. I don't know if they're off the top of my head, but I never understand that one. That one to me is they're like, he's out of the box. And you're like, and sometimes he's not out of the box.
He's
they're
not
out of the box. Yeah. And sometimes it's the other way where he's out of the box and they're like, nope, he's still in it. I'm like, what's the fucking lanes? What are the lanes this dude has to be in to throw the ball out of bounds? Because I have no idea. And surely it'll happen this weekend, right?
Sure.
All right. And he'll
it's the tackles, right? Isn't it the tackles?
Yeah, the tackles before the snap.
But sometimes they're large and sometimes they're small. There's no.
It's from their assholes.
Yeah,
straight out their assholes.
That's how you do it. I wish the ref would do it. Number 72's asshole and number 12.
Yeah. Upon further review, we have 77's asshole at the right hash of the 24.
He's good.
That's funny. But joking aside, I think I do have a very simple fucking answer for this, guys.
Oh, here we go.
This is the NFL. They have billions and billions of dollars, correct? I mean, billions of dollars technology. We're talking about putting chips in footballs. We're talking about doing all this crazy shit they could spend billions of dollars on, man. I have this thing in my pocket. That has the ability to take, let's see, right here. We can't see where Josh is at right here, right? Because he's being blocked by big Chris Jones right there, and we can't see him. We can't see where he's at. We can see the flag right here, or the down marker. We can see the ref. We can see the line on the ground. We can see the yard marker, but we just can't see Josh in the ball because big Chris Jones is right there. I have this device in my fucking pocket. I can tap Chris Jones and remove him from the picture.
Sure.
Why can the NFL not do that? Tap Chris Jones. He's gone. There's Josh Allen in the football. There's the stripe. We know right where the ball is. Why can't they do this?
Human error, I guess, is part of it.
I have a better fix. Every game, there should be you got your ref crew, right? And if it ever comes down to a controversial decision, there should be one bartender at a random Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
That gets,
he gets the call. There's a red phone. There's a red phone at every Buffalo Wild Wings. And instead of the bartender calling it, let's take it one further, Dry. Instead of the bartender calling it, everybody in the place has a raffle ticket. The phone rings and they say a number. He shouts it, and that guy gets to come up and make the call.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I love it.
I've always thought this would be a fun idea in the NFL. Just I'm throwing random because what Jerron said, which was, the sayings like you can't take your timeouts with you. But what if you could? What after every game you're like, hey, look, I still have 2 of them, so that they roll over to the next game, right?
Yeah.
And so week 2, like the Bills got 5 timeouts in the first half, and then they roll back. So you could get a game, right, with like the week 17 where like the Panthers have like 35 timeouts, and they're like, "What timeout?" Like, it would just be incredibly frustrating and kind of fun.
Andy, could you imagine that going into this weekend if we were like Andy Reid with 2 weeks to prepare and 37 timeouts is 24 and out?
It'd be incredible.
Go ahead, Jerron. What were you saying, man?
I don't know. I do like that. I think the strategy in it would be interesting though. Like, I mean, I the division games would be that much more competitive. Like, I think there is something cool about like timeouts or challenges or something like that.
Yeah.
I have 2 other ones, by the way. One I can't say publicly because it's a little racy, but the other idea I would say is I've always wanted to put like a phone booth on the sidelines where the kickers are, and only the kickers can go in. So they have no concept of the score of the game. Right? And so he's in the booth, he's got headphones on, he's on the internet, he can't get any scores of the game. And then when he comes out, obviously no one can tell him. He just knows he's got to kick this field goal. And then he finds out at the end if it was important or not, right? After he kicks it. You're like, yes. He's like, oh, that was good. That was good. So you just keep him in a booth.
To be fair, though, they already do that. They are. Have you ever watched been to the game and see what the kickers and the punters are doing? They're just fucking chilling. They're just
right. That's hilarious, though, man. That's funny.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Guys, we are solving all kind of shit on this episode. I love it, man. This is fantastic. Let's solve one more thing. There we go. Myles Garrett requests a trade out of Cleveland. He wants out of there, man. He wants to go. The Cleveland fans have rallied behind him. They agree with him. They're like, let this guy leave. We hate this team and these owners. He's not wrong. And I know you think my knock it off is going to be him asking for a trade, but it is not. My knock it off here is everyone saying the Lions can't trade for Myles. He's not going to Detroit. They're not going to trade for Myles. To that, I say, why not? The Lions are in a position right now where we don't need our draft picks in the first round for the next couple of years. They're irrelevant. Whoever we're drafting at the end of the first round in the next couple of years is irrelevant. Irrelevant. We have all our guys everywhere. They're young. They're on young contracts. Be like the Rams a couple of years, man. Fuck those picks. Go get Myles Garrett. Give him 3 first-rounders. Disagree with me or don't. Jerron.
I'd fucking disagree with you. Man, this league is so crazy. You week 1, your whole trajectory could be changed at the snap of a finger if one guy gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I think that I mean I said it before in a previous episode. I said that I think that Campbell will be fired in the next 3 years just because his coordinators are going, and we just see it happen, right? He's a player's coach. What can you do without the 2 of the best coordinators in the game on your team? I don't know. I think that if all your players, your whole defense got hurt this year, what's preventing that from happening again? Like it happened already. Like that's what you're saying. You're saying there's no way that we could get a lot of injuries. Like you want draft capital is very important because there might be that instead of wasting it on I'm not saying it's a waste because Myles Garrett is great, but there's a lot of good defensive guys out there, defensive ends out there that you could get for half the ask of what a Myles Garrett would cost if you're saying 3 first-rounders, which I don't even think it would be that much, right? He's about
probably 2. If it's 2, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
He's 30 now, right?
Yeah, he's 29. But to your point, though, Jerron, like, yeah, so that's what we need to do in the draft this year is stock up some depth on defense. So would you rather have Myles Garrett or the 29th pick and take this project defensive end out of Nichols State? I mean,
I'd take the
give me Myles
project.
Garrett.
I'd take the project. How many great fucking defensive linemen do you find in the later drafts? Like,
Well, we don't have time for that. We've got a 2-year window here to try to win this Super Bowl, and that's it.
Man, what you think that Myles Garrett is going to be that game changer that y'all need?
I do. Andy, what do you think?
I think the history of big trades like that tells me it really doesn't work out. Like I wouldn't trade 3. I would probably not even trade 2. If I wanted, you want to talk about like the Chiefs' success, you want to take Mahomes out of it, right? Like, yes, Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. We're talking. One of the things the Chiefs have done better than I think anybody, in my opinion, is sustain the success is the draft, right? The draft, Karlaftis, McDuffie. To Jerron's point is like, you want to, I would take a lot of defensive dudes and I would work it that way. I would never trade because Jerron's right. Like Goff gets hurt and then they bring in whoever they take in Teddy Two Gloves. Like Detroit is going to be a way worse team and they're going to be like the 11th pick in the draft again. I think Detroit's one of the teams that should get Garrett, right? I do think they're on the Washington, Detroit. I think Kansas City's a part of that group. I think there's a couple other teams. But I would be very careful about how much I was giving up for him. I would throw, if I'm Detroit, I'm like, take this young player. I would make that instead of a draft pick, right? Like I just wouldn't do blindly 2 or 3 first round picks. Because that is, I think to Jerron's point and maybe to mine a little bit, that's a tough way to go in the NFL, right? It's just constantly a tough way to go. Be like,
but the Lions are very much like the Chiefs, right, Andy? The Lions are very much like the Chiefs in the way that, like, we have really built our team well in the draft, and we're deep and we're good everywhere. Like, our line is best in the league across. They're great. Quarterback, we're set. Running back, we're good. Receivers, we're loaded. On the defensive side of the ball, secondary's great. Young guys are going to be even better next year. Defensive line, getting Hutchinson back on the like our team, like we're good. We don't need the 29th pick this year.
But the Chiefs don't do it. What they do is they use the 29th pick to go to 27 to get Xavier Worthy. Right? They Karlaftis, McDuffie. People pass on these awesome dudes. Like a couple years ago in the draft when offense went in the first 15, right? Then all the value, maybe it was last year's draft, all the defensive value came later, right? The Chiefs got rid of Hill. Tyreek Hill was, I would say, as good or better than Garrett at that time. And they traded him quickly, right? They quickly got rid of him for like 2 or 3 picks. And in those picks were McDuffie, Karlaftis. Like those dudes are what has kept the dynasty moving forward.
You guys make fair points. You guys make fair points.
If I was Detroit, get into the Myles Garrett business
for sure.
But I would not do blindly like give him 3 first rounds. Like
no, I would do 2.
Do that tomorrow. Tomorrow, Cleveland be like, you got it, because also there's money attached to it, right? And it's also like he's got a huge salary. It's like it's got to be the right deal if I'm Detroit, because Detroit, San Francisco, Philly, those are teams that are going to be right there next year again, probably. Green Bay, like. You got Goff for 3 or 4 years, right? You got Gibbs for a couple years left, right? You got Hutchinson.
We've got a 2-year window in my book. 2 years.
It's not longer, right? But you could make it longer. And a way to not
if
make
you're
it
the
longer,
Chiefs, we're the Detroit Lions. This window's 2 years and it's gone.
But to keep the window open as long as you can, I don't think you can give up like the 28th pick of the draft for the next 3 years. I just don't think you can do it.
Yeah, maybe not 3. I'll agree with you. I'll go 2. Jerron, you wanted to throw in?
I was going to say that it's interesting. Even as Myles requesting this trade, it's like I could see Garrett going to a team that maybe has an extra quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like a Vikings. Like a team because the Browns. It's weird, man. They've got the pieces. They have. You think it's a rebuild?
It's a complete rebuild because of the Deshaun Watson. It's a complete rebuild. They've already moved Amari Cooper out of there. They've moved receivers out of there. They have no quarterback answer. They got DTR, whatever the heck his name is, behind him. They wouldn't even play him at the end of the year. You got Chubb coming off an ACL. That line is no longer best in the league. They're aged out. Like they blew their whole window on that Watson deal. It's the worst deal in the history of the NFL. They blew up a Super Bowl contender. That team was legit Super Bowl contenders.
One year they had a good defense. And then that's it. I wouldn't say Super Bowl contender. Like the Chiefs beat them with a backup quarterback in the playoffs. Like that's never a good sign.
On the last drive. I mean, and that was when Baker was in his second year. Like that Browns team was legit, man. That Browns team was legit. They were good.
I think you have valued the Browns way more than most people because you like the over on them this year. Like you think the Browns are good, and
I was hoping Watson would turn it around, but he's
not. I just don't think. I would just say there was no window for the Super. I never once was like, "Oof, watch out for the scary Browns." Like never.
I don't know, man. They were really good, but you're coming from the Chiefs' perspective. I'm not saying I thought
or the Bills or the Ravens or the Bengals.
I think those were teams they could play with. They beat the Ravens during that period, so I don't know.
Falcons. I could see the Falcons trying to get Garrett.
Sure,
they need him. They need him
because also I mean we need him, but also Fontenot, and Raheem. I think they're on the hot seat now, especially.
Well, they also that trade makes the most sense because what you could do is you send Garrett to the Falcons and then you send
Kirk Cousins
to the Browns and he plays his year or two and that's it.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins with Flacco as the backup up in Cleveland, and nobody's buying it.
well, what's up with Deshaun? Like as far as his cap hit, because I know there was talks about like he might have voided his contract.
It's all up in the air. He might have screwed himself with some social media videos of him doing dumb shit and then re-injuring that on his own. So who knows? Who knows?
I wouldn't give up Myles Garrett for Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't.
Oh, and some picks. There'll be some picks involved in that.
For sure.
And the Falcons want to dump Kirk Cousins' salary. So it's kind of a good trade-off in that way.
That much. We ain't dumping that much.
What do they owe him next year? Like $35 million or something?
I mean, it's a lot. And then and that's the thing. But I think we would still eat a lot if we trade him within the first 2 years. I think that was
something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's something like that. But that's a good landing spot for him. That's a good landing spot. I think Detroit should make the move, man. Give up the 2.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, rapid fire on this one. Last knock it off. Rapid fire. Jerron Horton, the greatest three-peat team in all of sports history.
I have to say the Lakers, right?
The Kobe Shaq Lakers?
Kobe Shaq Lakers that the Pistons beat? Okay. All right. They were going for 4 when the Pistons beat them, right?
I probably. I mean, there aren't that many three-peat teams of sports that I watch. Right?
Yeah.
It's just
basketball. All right. Yeah. No, there's not a lot in baseball at all. Like you're not counting the 20s. You know what I mean? So it's basketball, football.
90s Yankees, I think, were one.
90s Yankees. Yeah. What do you think, Andy? Best three-peat team?
I think it's probably like the 60s UCLA when they won like 80 games in a row. Like Kareem. Walton, like probably those teams. Like, professionally, I don't know. Jordan Bulls are pretty good. Like remind me a little bit of the Chiefs because even if I just never thought the Jordan Bulls were losing, it didn't matter.
Never.
Like I was like, yeah, they're going to win this game. And they would find, even if they played their worst game, right? Like that game 6 that Jordan shot, you're like, if he misses this, they're going to go to a game 7. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take Jordan in game 7. So maybe professionally, I don't know enough about hockey to talk about the Oilers.
Broad Street Bullies too, Philly and the Islanders back then and all that. Yeah.
I mean, the Pats run, the Pats are, they didn't ever three-peat, but
no, they never did.
They never did.
Chiefs have a chance to be the first team ever to three-peat. You bring up Jordan's three-peats in an era of basketball that is considered widely the greatest era of basketball because they had all the greatest players at the same time, right? I mean, you had Jordan and Bird and Magic, and it's just it's a really great period, arguably, in basketball. And that's what I'm going to tell you. The greatest three-peat team in the history of sports is that team right up there. That's the Pistons, baby.
Screen picked up by Sally on a switch. Kareem. The old man goes up and misses the shot, but goes to the line with 14 seconds to go. And a chance to give the Lakers the lead.
I've looked at it right here.
Milton here has fouled out of the game. That's number 6.
We got the lead and the ball right now. There's no foul. Here it comes.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar fouled on this play.
How many times have they gone to him down the stretch in the big money time? And there was the foul, Lambeer bumping his left shoulder.
No, nobody.
Little body, the little body.
In the 80s, that's not a foul.
Yeah. That Kobe Shaq team, you know, the good thing about that team, the one, I think it was the last one that won, was I think they went 15-1 in the playoffs. No team's ever gone 16-0.
Yeah.
And the only game they lost was game one of the finals, that Iverson walkover game where he walks over Ty Lue.
Yeah.
Iverson had to go absolutely nuclear for that Laker team to lose. That Laker team was on the prime of their powers, Shaq and Kobe.
I wish I was betting in 04 when we played them in the finals, just because I would have bet the Pistons, even though everybody had Lakers in a sweep. And the only game the Lakers won in that series, Kobe hit like a half-court shot at the buzzer to win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we dominated them in that one. But anyway, man, Pistons three-peat in the golden era basketball. Don't tell me they only won 2.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, guys, we're going to get into these final picks right here in about 5 minutes here. Real quick, Andy, throw us some prop bets you think people should make during the Super Bowl here. Let's get a little segment here of All Right.
Wanna bet?
Cash money.
It's time for let's go. Give them some cash money.
Okay. I like Goddard receiving yards. I think we've probably missed the boat on maybe the good numbers, but the Chiefs tend to be really bad against tight ends. Tight ends kind of destroy Kansas City. I don't know why. It's just what they do. I like that one a lot. You know, I one that I'm on both sides of, you just have to decide which side you want to be on, is Xavier Worthy, 5.5 receptions. You could get to me both ways, right? The Chiefs love a little dink and dunk. Xavier is the king of that, right? He's the king of that. The other way is, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in game a little bit, is the way to beat this Eagles defense is deep, right? But the Chiefs rarely play that way. They rarely throw it deep. And if they do, it would probably be Worthy. He's probably the fastest guy to do. Like in the middle, the Eagles are a little tougher. But on the sidelines, you know, the Eagles can get got there. The Chiefs just don't play that way a lot. MVP. You want to talk about MVP a little bit? I don't think Mahomes will probably win MVP if the Chiefs win, more than likely. I just don't think it's the right bet, because you got to get a couple things in your favor, right? Compared to, I think, and I texted Mikey this the other day, if the Eagles win, it'll be because of Jalen Hurts. If the Eagles lose, it'll be because of Jalen Hurts. So he at 3-1 to me is a really good value. I would also, there's probably on FanDuel or whatever, there's something like by position, take a defensive player like 1,500, right? It's the second most MVP'd person, right? Just a defensive player, right? You don't have to choose a defensive player, but just choose the position defensive player. Because, look, a tight end's never won it. Look, you could take Kelsey at 6. Goddard's not winning it. You could take Kelsey at 1,600 if you want. I don't know. Probably wouldn't. You know, also don't take, if you're going to take an individual defensive player, in my opinion, it's not going to be a cornerback. It's not going to be like DeJean or Slay, or it's not going to be McDuffie. It's going to be a player who plays in the middle of the field, the linebacker, right? It's going to be the linebackers of the Eagles. So take that one guy who's awesome, Braun, whatever his name is, or take Bolton. Bolton's like 400-1. Bolton should have won the MVP 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So you want a guy who's going to be involved in it. You want to be a guy who's going to be involved in it. That's if you want to bet MVP. The Eagles are 5th against tight ends, so it depends how you see Kelsey being used. I kind of think Kelsey will be good. I just think they'll find little ways to get him the ball, but you could also go under on that sort of thing. Those are the first to pop out as I'm just kind of spitballing. Any of those?
You got any?
I got a few. I looked on Prize Picks earlier today just to kind of write a few down, some that I would make. Give me Juju Smith-Schuster over 15.5 yards, just because in big games, Mahomes and Reed, they go to the guys who have shown multiple times that they can handle the situation. And Juju's always those third quarters where they need, they're trying to tie the game up or something. Or they need a big play. It's always a Juju that ends up being open. Like the guy he does his job and he makes big plays when possible. I think 15.5 yards is something easy. I could actually even see him. I could even see him scoring a touchdown. I actually got him scoring a touchdown.
Can I throw just jump on this with Jerron?
Yeah, for sure.
I think Juju, like one of the things about the Chiefs Super Bowl is that every Super Bowl they've been in, a player has an anytime touchdown at 5-1 or better. One player has scored an anytime touchdown each game. So somebody like Juju, I have no idea what the odds are, but my guess are he's probably pretty high, right? And so if you believe in Juju, like maybe throw an anytime touchdown on there as well. I also agree with like the Chiefs are going to. I said it earlier. They're going to dink and dunk their way around against the Eagles. So like, Juju might have 3 catches for 18 yards.
Because Hopkins and Hollywood Brown, like it's the whole playoffs. I was waiting on them to have the game, and it's like no, the Chiefs they've gotten this far by doing what works.
They are who they are,
and they go to the guys who they trust. And Worthy proved that very early on in the first game of his career that he can be counted on. Right, he scored 2 touchdowns in the first game, and I think that's why he fits so nicely in with what they do already. Right, because when Rashee Rice went out for the season, he became the guy. And Hopkins looks old. Hollywood Brown just not. I don't know. Those guys just haven't been getting the ball. And every time I see them, I'm like, this is the game they're going to get it. And it never happens. It's always Worthy, Juju, Kelsey, Gray, Watson. Watson's getting the ball before fucking Hopkins and Hollywood Brown. It seems in these.
That's kind of the thing sometimes with good quarterbacks is it's crazy, but it kind of doesn't matter whose paycheck looks like what. Like the guy who's open gets the ball. It's weird.
Yeah.
Andy, throw us two more.
I like under on Barkley. Like I know everybody's like
under what?
Under 115, under 113, under. I like under. I think if you want to really have some fun, like this is going to be crazy, but some fun like longest rush, I would lean to Hurts or Mahomes just for fun for the odds. I'm not saying it's like going to be like
not a bad bet.
Because look, we all know Mahomes will bust. He'll run more in the playoffs. He won't run in the regular season because he don't want to get hurt. And they got some sort of weird deal with Reed where he will never run. But in the playoffs, he takes off. Same with Hurts. Hurts will run all the time. But, we were talking the other day, Saquon, I'll just give you my Saquon stat, is that he has 20 rushing touchdowns this year. The average distance of those touchdowns is 32.5. All right. So he has 650 yards of just touchdowns this year. Now, Kansas City has allowed 6 rushes over 25 yards and only 2 of them over 28 yards. And of the 6 guys who have done it, 3 of them are quarterbacks. All right. And Barkley, by the way, has 13 runs of over 25 this year. 10 of those 13 came against the Rams, the Commanders, and the Giants. So if you just take those 3 teams out, right, he ate a lot against those teams. Those really bad defenses. When the really good defenses come in, right, Barkley struggles a little more, and he might have not as many lanes. Right? So I kind of want the under on Barkley. I want under 112, 113. I mean, if he busts one, then it's over. You just got to pray he doesn't bust one. So I like the under on Barkley. I also like the under on all the Chiefs running backs, whatever the number is.
For sure.
Give me the under on those guys as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll give you a couple that I'm playing for sure, and then we'll move forward. I'll give them to you quickly here. I played one parlay here. I got, Andy, you're going to love this one. I got the Chiefs plus 7.5, Barkley to score a touchdown plus 105. Like that's even money on Barkley scores a touchdown and the Chiefs plus 7.5. I put $50 on that, guys. I mean, come on, right? That's
the only fear. The only fear you have is if Hurts does Hurts things, right? That's the only fear.
The only fear I have is if the Eagles win the game by more than a touchdown, which I don't think will happen. Right?
Right. I didn't even consider that.
Right.
I just considered the Hurts stealing.
Yeah, if he steals all the touchdowns down in the red zone, sure. But that seemed like an easy money one. I jumped on that one. I got the Eagles over 3.5 punts in the game. That's plus 125. That's better than even money that they're going to punt 4 times. I'm on that. Chiefs got a good defense, and the Eagles can shoot themselves in the foot trying to run Barkley on first down and second down on a couple drives, get behind the sticks. You got to punt. You know what I mean? I could see this happening. 3.5. I think it's a good bet. I bet Cooper DeJean with an anytime interception because it's plus 1,200. Plus 1,200. That's a long shot. But here's a long shot interception one I think you guys should jump on. McDuffie to make an interception, plus 2,200. Now, come on. If the Eagles are down late and they got to chuck it around a bunch and McDuffie just picks one off, that's plus 2,200. I'm on that thing for $5, pays 110. Put 5 on that all day. I'm in it for the value sometimes. I'm in for these $5 big scores.
Why not?
You know what I mean? Here's another one I love. I love this one.
Okay.
Chris Jones to record the first sack for the Chiefs is plus 500, guys. Plus 500. Now, we know the way Jalen Hurts plays quarterback. We know that he takes a lot of sacks in the pocket. When he gets out and gets flushed, that's not when he gets sacked. He gets sacked when he sits in there and waits too long, and then he doesn't want to make a bad throw because he takes care of the football. He'll just fold it up and take the sack. That's Chris Jones.
I want to throw one other one, and I was talking about this as defensive MVP, but I find the Nolan Smith. Find Nolan Smith odds. The odds that Chris Jones is going to bulldoze the Eagles line to me is much lower than the odds of the Eagles bulldozing the Kansas City.
For sure.
So I would maybe I'm just a little on the opposite side. I would maybe look at more Eagles players.
Well, this is just for the Chiefs, though, to make the first sack for the Chiefs, not first sack of the game.
Right.
So, but I like, but you're right. I was going to go the other way with that too. Pick a guy from the Eagles to do that as well, because if Mahomes gets sacked, it's going to be in the pocket. It's not going to be on a scramble. Right.
That's why I like Bolton and Nolan Smith. If you're going to want defensive MVPs, I like those two dudes.
Yeah, not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. And here's one last one I played, an oddball one, but I like this one. Both teams to record a touchdown and a field goal in each half.
Okay.
In each half, plus 1,700 on that, Andy.
Pretty good.
I don't think that's crazy. A touchdown and a field goal in each half? In each half.
That's
20 points, right? I mean,
I don't know.
I like the field goals.
I like it on paper, but it sounds too good to be true.
Right? I know. That's why it's plus 1,700. But at $5 at plus 1,700, I mean, you're just scoring $100 there. You're in $85 or something. So I'm in on that. There's just some little oddball quick ones I'll throw you right there that are for value, guys. You're putting $5 on those. If one of them comes in, you're cashing $80, $90, $120. That's beautiful. I love doing that. It's beautiful. We'll see how any of that goes. But let's do it. Let's get to the picks here. Andy's already got it locked up. Let's jump to the big 6 picks.
We cutting loose.
There it is, guys. And the big 6 picks finale. The season is over. Regular season, won that one. I was the champ, but Andy is cleaning up in the playoffs 3 years in a row. 3-peat champ. Kudos to you. And the Big Pick 6 finale is brought to you by the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast. It's Old English 800, guys. It's a Super Bowl. And if you don't have some and your orange juice, you better hurry up and get it before Sunday morning or you ain't going to find it.
Brass monkey, that monkey, brass monkey, chunky.
Oh, I'll be having some of them on Super Bowl Sunday. No doubt about it. Official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast. Old English 800. All right, Andy. Give us your pick first, as it doesn't even matter. You win. The only way you're not going to break the all-time scoring record in the competition here is if you completely draw a goose egg on this thing, which I don't think you can do.
I think I can do it. I feel like I could do it. I'm gonna give you definite ones. My thought in this game is I think the Eagles are the better team, right? I think they have more players that are better than the Chiefs. Like this game to me reminds me a lot of the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. It reminds me of, and they have the same things. The Eagles have the same things that Tampa has, which are sometimes a problem for Mahomes. The problem is there's like 3 or 4 positions that I value a little higher than overall team strength: quarterback, coach, and defensive coach. Right, and I like Spags a little more than Fangio. Also, I think the Chiefs defense will do this, which is like they will bend, but they won't break, right? Like if you look at the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl 2 years ago, the Eagles were kind of working Kansas City over in the first half. Spags makes some adjustments, right? The Chiefs come back and win. I think that'll be, to me, very similar. Another bet you could always bet is Eagles at halftime, Chiefs win the game. Whatever, you're going to get some plus money on that sort of thing. I like it. It's called I don't remember, like three-way or I don't know. But you could get a bet on that way. I think it's going to be a fast game. I think this game's going to move fast. I think it's going to be a lot of short plays, some runs. I think there's going to be more passing than we think. I don't think it's going to be super long passing. I think it's going to be low dink and dunks, like I was saying. I think the game's going to move quickly. I think it's going to be an under game. So for me, and all the props, all the offensive props are too high, in my opinion. So if you like whatever wide receiver or tight end you like, I'm always taking the under on these. They're no fun. I get it. We want the game to be like 41-38. But the other side of it, the last couple weeks, we saw the Eagles drop 55. They dropped 21 in the fourth quarter to win that game. And a couple of those touchdowns were very lucky, right? The Chiefs have never scored 30 until against the Bills. They scored 32. The Chiefs just want to drag you into the mud and force you to play in the mud and give Mahomes a chance to win in the end. The other thing, I'm sorry I'm going so long, but the other thing is I think the game ends one of two ways, right? Kansas City needs the ball and scores a field goal to win, or Spags has to stop Hurts to win. I like Kansas City on both sides of that, right? If I put a gun to all our heads and said, you will die if the team you pick doesn't win the Super Bowl, we're all going to take Mahomes. We're all taking Mahomes. Last week, I wanted to take the Eagles. I was trying to fight thank God this didn't happen last week because I would have taken the Eagles. But now, as it's gotten to here, I'm just going to ride the Chiefs.
Sure.
I also think it's going to be lower scoring. I think this game's going to be like, 23-16, 23-18. I just think it's going to be defense. Give me the unders on all those props. Give me the under. Give me the Chiefs win.
Okay, under and the Chiefs. Now, get ready because you're going to have to make a few more picks, Andy, as we're going to switch things up a little bit this year to give everybody a chance to win with some extra points.
Okay.
We're going to bet on some props. We're going to go Final Jeopardy style. Bet how many points you want to bet on this game. No, I'm kidding. We're not doing any of that. You won. You won. I can see your face being like, wait, no,
That's why, I just told you I'm taking the under.
No, we're not doing that. No, I'm kidding. We're not. You won, man. I'm not going to do some shit like that. All right, Anthony Fanelli, not going to be able to get in on this, but he did send us his picks, guys. He's taking the Eagles, and he's taking the over. That's how he's riding in this one. For the contest, I don't think I said it. We are playing Kansas City -1.5 and the over-under at 48.5. Now, Jerron, the real competition this weekend is who's going to be last, you or me. Now, we are not going to get a chance to play off each other here with our picks. I have mine written down on this paper, but I'm not writing it with a pen, so I'm not doing it as you're making your pick. I typed it out on here, so I'm typed. I'm locked in. I can't change my pick, so you go first because you don't know mine. What are you taking?
All right, so what I think is going to happen, I think the Chiefs in the under. But what I'm picking, because I feel like you're not picking it, is the Eagles and over.
Okay.
That's what I'm taking.
Okay.
Eagles and over.
You're going to take the Eagles and
it's a
the
defensive
over.
move.
Yep.
That's a very creative move. And it is going to come down to it, Jerron, because I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you a little quick game breakdown first, and then I'm going to show you my pick, and I'll keep it short-winded. Here's what I think. Andy said a lot of everything and locked a lot of it up. If you want to beat the Chiefs, everybody knows, everybody thinks it revolves around ownership of possession. You have to rock time of possession to keep the ball away from Mahomes.
Right.
True to an extent. You have to have two things. You have to own time of possession, and you have to be up at least 3 or more. You can more than 3. You cannot own time of possession and keep the game close because Mahomes will get it last. He'll go down the field and beat you. It's not just time of possession. The Eagles want to win this game. They need to be up at least 6, forcing Kansas City to try to score. They need to be up 6 and own time of possession. That's how you're going to win this game. Don't let them stay close. Okay. And here's the other thing I'll tell you. A lot of teams, we talk about this a lot on the show, Andy, all year long. We have Mahomes and Reed will make you do stupid shit. They make other teams do dumb things, make dumb choices. They also are very good against the run. That's why everybody's high on Barkley under 100 yards in this game. The Chiefs are a very good defense, and they're very good against the run. And all year long, they've made other teams quickly abandon their offense, panic mode because once Mahomes gets up on you, you also sent me this stat, Andy. Patrick Mahomes, when leading at the end of the first quarter in the last 3 years, is undefeated, has not lost a game.
29-0.
29-0. So people do stupid shit. When they get behind the Mahomes early, they abandon their offense. They start letting the Chiefs dictate to them what they're going to do. I don't think the Eagles will do that. The Eagles know their identity. Even if they're down early, they will not panic. They will stick to running the football. They will stick to who they are. And that, I think, will give them an advantage in the game. As stupid as that sounds, I think that will give them the advantage in the game. They will not let the Chiefs dictate to them who they are. They will stay true to who they are, and they will run the football. I think Barkley ends up getting over 100 because I think he gets in the high 20s, maybe even 30 carries in this damn game. I expect it to be close. We may even see overtime, but I am taking the Eagles and the under.
Okay.
And the under. So we do have a chance to separate each other here. So this is going to be interesting. I'm taking the Eagles and the under. And we'll see who winds up in the cellar on this thing. Once again, Andy, congratulations. 3-peat. Hey, for you, I hope the Chiefs win the game, man. I hope they get the 3-peat for you. I got some money on the Eagles.
Yeah, I want the Chiefs to win. I want to see the 3-peat happen, the first one ever. I want it to happen. And I don't like the Eagles. I like the Chiefs. I don't like the Eagles.
I'll be rooting for the Eagles for my man Johnny Wilson, man. Go get that Super Bowl ring, kiddo. Go get that ring.
You want to, before you play your money, just be like, am I really going to put money on Sirianni over Andy Reid? Because Andy's going to be ready. Andy's going to have little flares with running backs out there. He's going to get like 13 yards, get a first down. Game will be over. Sammy P. Ryan will do something like, keep your eye out. Also one last thing is if the Eagles really are going to win, and I did think they have a really good shot and a really good team, which is they got to dominate the Kansas City offensive line, right? That's where it starts.
Yeah.
And they will.
I'm going to throw one last nugget in here, and maybe I'll post this on the social media or something. But when the Chiefs and the Bucs played in the Super Bowl, if you remember, Andy, I had all these little helmets on a board, and I was showing these pass rush stunts that I thought that the Bucs would pull because they had the big fellas in the middle. They had Sue and they had Villaveda, and it was a whole thing where they would put a big guy out at the edge to collapse the pocket one way and flush Mahomes out, and then they would stunt into the B gap on the other side. They did it a bunch. Shaq Barrett ate like a king in that game because those guys did that. I will expect some film to be watched by the Eagles, and don't be shocked if you see Jalen Carter at some point spread out to a 5, maybe even a 7 technique to line up before the snap and press down one side of the ball. We might see that. I don't know.
Take first half under, by the way. Take the first half under.
First half under.
It's going to be slow. Game's going to go fast. The game will go very fast, I believe. This is why that makes me nervous, by the way.
I think you're right. Guys, I know we went a little long today, but man, we had some fun. We had some good laughs, man. This is a great episode. We'll let you know who's in the cellar at the end of this one. Will it be Jerron Horton? Will it be boy, Mikey Wilson?
As long as I beat the host, I could say that I did pretty good.
Oh, man. I don't want to finish in last, but if I do, you know what, man? It was all fun and games. I'll be upset about it. And I just have myself a brass monkey. So enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the Super Bowl, man. Drink responsibly. Gamble responsibly. Have some fun. And we'll see you next time. Chiefs. College football is now B1G versus SEC. If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money. All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works.